Okay, so I did get a flight last night after I changed the circuit board on it. Unfortunately, it hit the house, as you can see with this massive great arm hanging off here. But it still flies well. I'm going to have to super glue it back together, so let's just give it a flight and see how we get on. As you can see, lovely and stable. Really is a smashing little quad. Well, I'm sure there's some other good ones around as well, but this is nice. The thing I found good about this is you can buy them in a hobby shop. You can get the spares usually in a hobby shop. If not, you can talk to someone in the UK about it. I brought some from Banggood and that. I got another couple of quads, and they're fine, but you know, you've got to wait 3 weeks for them. As I was talking about this bit here that's totally broken on the frame, as you can see, it's virtually hanging off, but as I showed earlier, it still flies, which is quite amazing. It flies okay, but it's not the best, and eventually it's going to fall apart, I'm sure. A couple of things you could do here. I'm going to super glue this, but you actually could physically just hold it there and then super glue it in these two places here, and perhaps under here. But what I'm going to do is take this the battery holder part of the frame off and then super glue it out. If not, you could get super glue onto the printed circuit board or onto the wiring. You could cause all sorts of problems. So again, just with a small watchmaker's screwdriver, I'm going to take this frame off. And these screws are actually I've been in and out several times. With getting used to the hobby, you tend to have quite a few prangs and things and start to get confident, and then it all goes a bit wrong. But no, it seems to be doing okay. These are actually quite a reasonable size compared to other quadcopters. So though I thought they were small when I first got it, actually compared to a lot of stuff, like I say, they are quite a reasonable size. I'll take them all out. There we go. I don't know why that one won't let go, but it will now. That's it. And as you can see, the actual frame's broken as well, so that's why this leg's sort of hanging off. This really isn't doing a terrific amount for it, but this leg is definitely, as you can see, hanging off. So when it's trying to fly, it's trying to compensate for that as well, which it did very well. This bit I may well just stick, but what I'll do is take off the cover, this bit first, and then I can get to that area. Now this has really become quite flimsy, but it is amazing that you can repair these things. They fly again, off you go again. So there we go. Because sewn here is with the wires that actually go the other side of there, of the screw. So just be a bit careful with the screw. I'm just going to move them out the way, sort of tease them out the way with the screwdriver. And there's just 2 screws here, and again this one as well. That's it. So this is actually fine, the actual hood of it, but it's this bit now you're really starting to see how weak it's become, as you can see there. I'm just going to really stick that, to be honest, and just be careful with it. It's broken in the same place again. Whether or not it'll always break there, I don't know. I guess because it's a weakness, but very simple, just any old super glue. This is, you know, I know you get 2 or 3 or 4 for £1 in certain shops. I find it just as good as anything really. Make sure you've got a surface that you're not too worried about, and then really it's just push together and hold just till it seals off. There we go, you can see it pop in there. The other thing I use sometimes is these little clips, or pegs, anything like that would do. They're quite handy just for doing little basic repairs, but hopefully the glue will go off quick enough. If not, I'll just speed up that bit of the video. So, little tiny drop into where the brake is. Make sure you don't run any onto the printed circuit board, like I said earlier. I don't know whether it would do any problem or not, but better to be safe than sorry. A little bit less rather than a little bit more with super glue tends to work. And having said that, of course, doing it live on video, it's wound up with a little bit too much. But never mind, we'll just hold that there for a few seconds and that should settle in. And you can feel as you actually rock it that it's in the correct place. It's lined itself up really well. There we go, that's pretty good, I think. I actually put too much on, so it's actually trying to dry all that out. There we go, I'd say that was pretty much there. Yeah, you can see that's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to just put that to the side, and then you can see that I've actually repaired this before. There's a tiny bit of super glue run out there. So just literally, this time I try not to do too much. That's it. Just going to do it on one surface. And I don't know where we'd be with that super glue with this model stuff. I'm certainly finding it brilliant for it. This time I'm hoping to prove I don't have to get my fingers stuck in it either. So just going to line everything back up, and I think I can just do it in one this time. There we go, pretty much there I would say. Not the neatest job in the world. You can use like a scalpel or a knife to tidy it all up, but to be honest, I'm not really that worried. It's not going to affect anything on the quad anyway. I'm going to put it back together because I think the final fixing will help it as well. Let me show you how this has gone. It's absolutely pretty solid, back to normal sort of thing. Flexes like it's supposed to. So let's get this back together, and it's all gone off. But need to job that one as well. So let's pop this on. There we go. Everything's lining back up now as well. So before this was hanging off and sticking out quite a way. So this is much better. You see that's just going to go together so much better. These are the wires that I find they come around the other side here, which I'm almost wondering whether if I can keep them in on that side, whether that would be a benefit for me. I just don't want them to touch, obviously. I'm going to try it that way this time, see how we get on. Don't think it will cause any problems, I just think it's much less likely to get caught. Those screws anymore. Take this, and as you can see, it's pretty much holding together. It flexes and everything. Still got a little bit to go off here, and like I say, it's not the neatest job I've done, but it's not going to be touching anything that's going to give us any bother. That pops in there. I think this will help it stick up together. As you can possibly hear, it's sort of creaking in. It's moving the frame to make it fit properly. There we go. Make sure that's seated in properly. You can just feel it and hear it just clicking right in the right places there. There we go. Now the whole thing is feeling much better. Once you've got these screws in, should be back to looking like a new quad anyway. That's all in. There we have one, as you can see, pretty complete quad, taking the pretty hard hits. This is lined back up again. This was all hanging out before. It has been hit a few times, so that's probably the third time I've repaired the frame. Certainly the battery holder, but obviously you can just buy a replacement one of these, which I may well do, but at the moment that still seems pretty good, and for the sake of I can do it in a few minutes and get it done and then back out flying, it's much better than getting another frame. Take me just as long to fit a new frame. So hope you enjoyed that, and I'll go and give this a fly and show you what that looks like.
Okay, let's give this a test up. There we go. Oh, lovely and stable. All repaired, looking good. flying much better now. Yeah, that really does fly better. So much better. It looks as good as new. There we go.